After a tornado ripped through this flea market, owners arrived to find their store in pieces.
According to industry watcher Ward's Auto, Ford, Chrysler, and GM all reported higher sales in September.
Just 1 hour, the Cardinals and the Rangers take the field for Game 7 of the World Series. Realized if you try to use the app, and I tried myself, it doesn't work with these meters. It was the janitor who saw all of the commotion outside of the car where Kent Heithold was killed. The Kuhn family is just one example of Whitlock scamming people out of thousands of dollars. A significant number of workers may not be maximizing their tax refund. On Carroll Drive, where Columbia police found evidence of drug arrest, marijuana, and cocaine. This represents a turning point in Robert's road to recovery. We learned an F2 tornado here in Branson swept through this entire area here, about 8 miles. This city fans say football is like a religion. Some Holt Summit residents had themselves a good time today at the city's 6th annual Harvest Festival. Wedged between businesses on Branson's famous strip, past the Branson Mall, past the devastated hotels, past the torn-up restaurants, between the fallen power lines, you'll find the Nelsons.
There used to be a porch right here. We found it about 60 yards down the property over here.
The Nelsons' house is actually right in the middle of the commercial area that was the path of the F2 tornado that ripped through the heart of 76 Country Boulevard, 8 miles of Missouri's tourism capital.
This is a lot of damage. The insurance issues here, the property damage issues here are going to be significant.
We've lost use of all 3 of our vehicles.
We put a brand new roof on his house last year, and as soon as I saw the devastation on TV this morning, I called him up and asked how our roof was, and he said, "What roof? The roof's gone, the porch is gone."
The tornado hitting businesses and shows around 1:30 a.m. spared many lives, with most safe at home, safe in bed. But for Martin and Betty,
I heard a boom, I felt glass, I immediately dove off of the bed. I don't know if I dove off or it knocked me off.
Bed is where fear began.
I'm scared.
It was like the biggest fear of not knowing what was going on around us. We could see people with lights walking up and down, and we didn't know if they were looting or if they were, officials. Then it kept lightning and raining, and it was like, is this the beginning of something bigger, or was this the final blow of... It was, I don't know, I'm speechless. It's just grateful that one of those limbs from that tree didn't come flying through here and hit one of us.
To Martin and his wife, it was more than just a tree.
I didn't think anything would ever knock that magnolia tree down.
It was memories.
We used to like to stop and get their picture taken by the tree on special occasions, So it was kind of like the conversation piece, and now it's destroyed.
Got her home. That's all I know.
There will be forever pieces of broken glass in here.
Broken glass, but no broken spirits.
This can all be fixed. It's a lot of work out here, but we'll just do the best we can to get along and pick up the pieces from here.
Kylie McGivern, KOMU 8 News, Branson.
Some of the folks working here drive in excess of 100 miles one way.
Just thankful to have a job at this point.
For Rick Campbell of Mexico, this isn't just an assembly line. It's his lifeline.
I don't know what I'd do other than this.
A source of stability for 26 years. Campbell divorced and his family moved out of state, but Campbell says General Motors' Wentzville assembly plant, 75 miles away, is a second home.
It's a lot like a family here with a lot of people.
That family faced its own turmoil 2 years ago after GM declared bankruptcy and rounds of layoffs shook the very foundation that brought workers together.
We're right in the midst of recession. Our sales volumes went down and we lost a shift of production.
Lost a shift and half its workforce, 1,200 people. Wentzville wasn't alone. Chrysler's wheels rolled to a stop the same year at its Fenton plant, leaving thousands jobless. But now, many Missouri plants are on the road to recovery.
Presently, we don't have anyone laid off. Everyone's back at work. Volumes continue to increase, and we're hopeful that's going to continue.
Following more than 2 years of negotiations and the Missouri Manufacturing Jobs Act signed last summer, Governor Jay Nixon announced Ford's plans to bring more than 1,600 additional automotive jobs to Kansas City over the next 4 years, investing $1.1 billion.
One of the reasons auto manufacturers are hiring again is because car sales are up. According to industry watcher Ward's Auto, Ford, Chrysler, and GM all reported higher sales in September 2011 from the same time the year before, with Chrysler reporting a 27% increase in sales. The Center for Automotive Research estimated that for every one new auto manufacturing job, 9 other jobs are created.
In addition to those 4,000 jobs at Ford, those are directly related to 11,215 other jobs across the state, both direct and indirect, retail and non-retail.
Dana Corporation in Columbia is an example of those jobs as it manufactures parts for Ford. But if you ask Tom Broom about the economy, perhaps you don't need to dive as deep into numbers and statistics. Instead, look no further than a white van.
There are a few analysts that use the white van as an leading economic indicator.
Just think of every van as a business in itself.
Delivery vans, construction industry, contractors, plumbers, electricians, to a moving van. It would seem that given the state of affairs here, that the economy is poised to pick up because our orders are picking up.
Building 469 vehicles a day.
It's a 11-hour work schedule.
Often 6 days a week.
We've been doing that for over a year now. We're working hard here. We're working harder than we have ever in the past.
Campbell is driving home a message. Though it's not the Motor City, Missouri is the show me state, and he's showing the auto industry may have been down, but it's not out. Sometimes a house is more than a home. For one Missouri veteran, this is a symbol of hope, a turning point in the journey bringing this veteran back to his family, back from Iraq.
It seemed like a normal night. It was really quiet, so that was a little bit odd. The last thing I remember was a noise, and I blinked, and I opened my eyes, and I saw golden sparks.
2 years ago, when Kanine was returning from patrol in northwest Baghdad, an explosively formed projectile hit his vehicle.
I was so close that the explosives got in my mouth and in my nose, and I could taste it, so I was trying to think what happened.
What happened changed Kanine's life.
I think about it a lot just because of the injury and missing the legs, and it's just a daily reminder. When something like that happens, it's like hitting a wall. Life stops, and what you were and what you used to do is gone.
Kanine needed a new definition of normal.
I just kind of broke down and realized that I had to give up what I used to be and move on to something else.
The depression, constant pain and frustration were hard on his 10-year-old son and wife.
Try to keep things as normal as possible and let them know everything's going to be okay.
It was very tough on the family. There was a point where my wife was even going to leave because I didn't want to do anything. I couldn't wear my legs. I just sat around and.
It may not look like much, but to Robert, who spent 17 months recovering in an Army hospital, only to return home and spend another 5 months fighting a losing battle of trying to make ill-fitted prosthetics work, this represents a turning point in Robert's road to recovery.
Kanine found hope at a Jefferson City prosthetics lab.
So many of them have low expectations because they've been told, well, that's the best you're going to do.
Kanine demanded more. And now?
The jumping and hopping and balance, and he's just incredible.
After about 30 minutes on the old legs, I was just exhausted to where, 30 minutes on these legs is no problem.
That's just who Robert is he's going to push it as far as he can. And so it challenges us to be better at what we do.
I wasted 5 months at a place, and then I came down here, and in 5 weeks, I got good sockets. So there's a difference.
Bakun says Kanine made the difference.
People like Robert, they make you want to be a better person.
What was it that really maybe got you through those tougher times?
Definitely getting our house. I knew everything was going to be okay then, and being close to our family. So those 2 things were really motivating.
A national charity, Homes for Our Troops, and hundreds of local volunteers raised the money and built this house for the Kanines last year.
It really allowed me to focus on, have a goal to get home and get on with life.
Now, Kanine says he can focus on new goals, graduating with a business degree, getting a job, and taking care of his family.
Small steps lead to big gains.
So this house, this turning point of healing, has become a new turning point, one toward a new, brighter future for the Kanines.